Okay, so you can see here, folks, that I have something new to show you. This is the Gura Gear Chobe, or Chobe, I guess is how they pronounce it. This is the 2.0 13-inch. And I did a few years back, I reviewed, and I'm not even sure if I made a video of it. I think it might have just been a written review on my old webpage, which is now defunct. I looked at the 1.0 version of this, and I didn't love it. I mean, there are some things with it that drove me a little bit crazy, but hey, this is the 2.0 version, and we always want to leave room for improvement. So let's take a first look at this bag. I'm just going to show you around the bag itself. You should know that it's made out of a sailcloth. I think it's called VX21, which is a really super lightweight but stout. Obviously, if it's sailcloth, it's got to be pretty stout material. And it's pretty expensive stuff because of how lightweight and durable it is. This is really a premium bag, premium product, and you do pay for that because of the quality of the materials. The first thing I want to show here is the front of the bag. You're going to see there are two pockets. They have their own dimension. They're about I'd say an inch, inch and a half in depth. So that means that they aren't going to encroach onto the main compartment of the bag. They're going to have their own volume here in which to put stuff. So we can see here on this one on my right, it unzips 180 degrees asymmetrically though. Okay. And when you peel this away, you can see that there's quite a bit of organization going on in the interior here. And we have here a zippered pocket, mesh pocket at the top. We have another smaller mesh pocket here at the bottom that is held with an elastic. And then we also have, you can see here, the 3 credit card or business card holders, as well as 2 slots for pens, pencils, a place to hook your keys. And the nice thing about this design, and I know this is not a review, but it's always good to be able to protect the rest of your stuff from the keys by having it hang in a separate pocket. Okay, so zip that back up. YKK zippers, nice zipper pulls that are going to be silent so that they're not going to be jingling the whole time. And let's take a look at this larger pocket here on the left. Actually, before I go into that interior pocket, this is a nice pocket here on the outside, held with a little tab of Velcro that's, about an inch and a half wide, about a ½ inch deep. And this is a perfect place for me to keep my cell phone. Quick access, be able to grab it when it's ringing, and then toss it right back in there when I don't need it. And then here, I'm going to flip this up here and use a different camera view so you can get a better sense of what's going on here. Okay, so in this situation, when I peel this away, you can see here that it looks very similar to what we had on the other side here. We have zippered, let me swing around to this side. We have a zippered compartment here, right? And it's a small zippered pocket. And then down low, you can see that there's another pocket here that's held with elastic, and this one's divided into 2, so it essentially becomes similar to the one next door to it. Okay, and then over here you can see we have 2 flaps. We have not held by Velcro or anything, you just pull it by the little tab, and I have my wallet in there, and then another one just behind it, and both of these go all the way to the very bottom of the bag. And you can see that I've actually chosen to stash my sunglasses in there. Let's just go into the main compartment. And I have this right now empty of anything. We have a couple more. These things hang on their own. They obviously are going to be taking up the volume of the main compartment here. But, it's very nice to have these sort of independent and very easy to be able to see what's going on. 2 separate pockets. I could imagine putting batteries, SD cards, etc. into there. And then along the back wall, a pouch here that goes all the way across. Am I getting that in focus? It's hard to get it in focus. It's so not. There we go. So I have a pouch here that goes all the way across the entire width of the bag, and you can put anything you can imagine in there. I actually, so you can see it's got a little piece of Velcro to hold it in there. I put my bag of receipts in there, but you could put in any sort of file folders or anything like that that you think would be useful into that area as well. Okay, so I will tell you that one of the great things, the folks at Gura Gear did send along with this review sample of this bag. It gave me these great little bags. They're called Etc. bags, and I have a small, medium, and large one. So you can see here that I keep my little toiletry essential things that I need. I can just stash that in there. Here's the medium size guy, right? And I keep cables and such in there. I can go ahead and stash that right next to it. Probably want to do it with the zipper up. And then lastly, we have this large one, which is a 1 liter version of this thing. It has a lot more dimension to it. It's, you know, it got some foam in there to allow it to keep its shape. And you can see here I have my charging blocks and cables, and that can slide right there into this main compartment. Let's shift to the tech compartment back here. And you can see here that I have a file folder. I can fit my 12.9-inch iPad Pro in the slot. It's a little tight, so it's probably better for a regular size, the sort of the 10.5, I think is what it's called, 10.5-inch iPad to fit in there because it is tight. And then I have a 13-inch, ooh, that made a bad sound. 13-inch MacBook Pro that I have in the main compartment. Again, it's padded all around, not on the sides, but on the bottom where it's most important, and certainly in the back as well. Now let's take a look at what we have on the back here. You can see that there's a luggage pass-through that exists here. There's no zipper at the bottom or Velcro or anything, so you can't use this to put like a magazine or your boarding pass into, otherwise it'll fall right through and out, and that would be bad. Interestingly enough, there are these side pouches that have, and it's hard, I'm not going to be able to film this, but there's this Velcro that sort of seals off this compartment. And I suppose you could keep things in there. Now, I'm not sure what you'd keep because it would be really small and not super accessible, but there's one on both sides. So there are these Velcro pockets. And clearly, Gura Gear wanted you to be able to use these for something, or they would have just stitched it all the way down instead of using Velcro. So I find that fascinating. On the bottom of the bag, they have VX42, which is a tougher material, a tougher sailcloth material. It looks pretty much the same because it has this diamond shape on it, but it is a more abrasion resistant version of the VX21. And then here on the side, there's this small little pouch. Now, it's not a water bottle pouch because it's way too small, but it is convenient enough for me to be able to put my my AirPods into here. And they won't come out because it really does have a nice little elasticize. I suppose if I bumped it hard enough, it might come out, but you know, frankly, I don't imagine myself bumping this side of the bag. So this is a nice little pouch. Don't expect it to be able to carry much. You know, the AirPods fit in there perfectly, and pretty much nothing else would fit in there all that well. And then if we flip over to this side, you can see that there you have a convenient little piece of webbing here. I suppose you could add a pouch there for a water bottle if you want to expand this bag. Weather alert there. I use it to connect my key back and my keys that I need to get into the office and into the classrooms where I teach. So that's in a really good spot too, because it's on the left side of the bag when the bag is against your back. And I tend to wear these across my back, sort of more crossbody. Okay, so I think that's it for the main compartments and the exterior. Let's talk a little bit about the points of contact with your body. So you can see here that they include an adjustable shoulder strap. It's got really nice padding. This piece of the shoulder strap cannot slide along the webbing. That's an important thing to consider when you are adjusting this to your body. That means that you really have to shorten both sides or adjust both sides in such a way that if you're going to wear this across your right shoulder, it's not going to fit to wear this across your left shoulder in the same way. And notably important here, you'll have to adjust it. If you're somebody who just wears it on the side like so, right? You can see here that the way I have this set up, since I use this as crossbody, this padding is just barely hanging out there, and it's probably going to slip in this way as you go along. The way I have it though right now, you can see that it's right now in just the right place for me when I have this across the back. Okay, so that's something to consider. The inability for this to slide does limit things a little bit when it comes to fitting this to you in various ways of holding the bag. And then the handles here. Nice thing is you can see here is that they are hinged, so they get out of the way. Oftentimes you'll have bag companies that have these sort of sticking up and they get in the way of you being able to access things. But these are hinged and naturally will fall to either side of the bag. They also do have a little, looks like faux leather padding to it. Not something that I'd want to carry for 3.5 hours. I'd much rather use the shoulder strap if I'm going to do that. But for easy, quick grab and go, a piece that's really, it's a nice design. I like it. Now let's get into the expandability of this bag, which is important. Because if I'm using this as a camera bag, I'd probably be carrying more gear than would naturally fit if I'm just putting in without the camera insert. And the camera inserts, as I understand it, are an option. You don't get it with the bag. You will buy it separately. So you can see this has just expanded the bag significantly. And now it puts the zipper to get into the main compartment down the center of the bag, which does make it a lot easier to access things. I'm just going to take out these etc. bags for now, so you can see how much this has changed things. And then, as you can see there, I just flapped this down so that it now takes advantage of the full amount of space there. And this is where I'm going to put in the camera insert. So let me just slide this off to here for a moment. I'm going to move these completely out of the way. And I want to give you a look at the camera inserts. And let me go ahead and zoom in a little bit more on what's going on here. So importantly, you can see here that this is a pretty wide looking, or not just looking, it is pretty wide. And it will be able to fit a camera with a grip on it. In fact, hold on just a second. So you can all see that I'm using this. This is a Lumix G85. And let me just take off this handle that I use. And the G85 is not a big camera by any means. But you can see that it is gripped, and this is always an issue, that it's always difficult to fit a gripped camera body into many of these shoulder bag options, shoulder bag camera bags. But look at this, piece of cake, right? And I could easily fit the lens that I typically have on this, which is shooting right now on my G9 over there, which is a 15 millimeter 1.7 that fits right in here. So it makes it very easy for me to be able to grab my camera body. And the G9, though it's a little bigger, will fit in here, no problem. Grab the camera body out, okay? And you can see in this situation, I have a couple more lenses in here, batteries, and I do have, very importantly, this is, Gura Gear does include this, which is a rain cover that will cover up this whole bag. There are a lot of ways in which you can set up this bag because of its width. I think that's the thing that makes this, I'm sorry, this insert, not this bag, so useful. And you can see here that there are two other inserts that I have not used for this, or two other dividers, I should say, that I have not used for this insert that would be able to allow you to further customize this to how you see fit. Now, one of the things I will tell you is that this thing fits into the bag really tightly. So you're not going to be somebody who's, if you're somebody who likes to take out their insert, that might be a little bit of a challenge. I don't think it's that big a deal. I mean, you might go to the location where you're going to shoot and then you take out this, so it's a little bit easier for you to get access to your gear. But let me show you here. I'm going to, because of how hard it is to put in, I'm actually going to move my gear out of there in case it flips out. And I'm going to show you the process here. So you just put in one corner here, and then you really have to squish it in there. You can see that it sort of deformed it for a moment there in order to get it in there. But once in, it's in there firmly, and it's obviously you're maximizing the use of the insert when you have it in there so tightly. If you had anything in those organizer pockets or the back panel that has the slot for your file folders or something like that, you're not going to be able to get access to those anyway, so you're going to want to remove all that stuff before putting in the insert. And then you can see that I can now go ahead and just load this up as I did just moments ago. Go ahead and put my camera into there, right? And then zip it up like that. The handles still work perfectly fine, even though it's in a wide zone in that situation as well. And not too bad to be able to get access. to the middle slot where your camera is. Maybe a little bit harder to get access to the lenses on the side just because the opening is sort of limited by the length of the zipper here. Okay, crew, so there it is. That's the first look at the Gura Gear Chobi 2.0, and I will be doing a full review of this bag sometime soon after using it for some period of time. All right, take a look at my other videos for camera bags as well as videos for crossover day packs, which is the main interest that I have on this this YouTube channel. And make sure you stay safe. We're nearly out of the woods with COVID, folks. But just hang on there, wear your masks, and social distance. Take care.